To the 68th General Tire hashtag Anywhere is Possible 200, where for the last 26 events, they've produced an individual winner. Michael Self is the points leader, 55 better than both Brett Holmes and Travis Braden. Still plenty of time, though, for Christian Eckes, Joe Graf to make this interesting.
Yeah, without a doubt, Christian Eckes missed that race due to an illness, and he's still only 115 points behind.
We mentioned Harrison Burton as your pole sitters. The cars start to get lined up. We get an opportunity to talk now about our General Tire Pole Award. Normally, there is a qualifying session, but because of overnight rains and track work that had to be done, we didn't have that. We sent him out for practice, and we said, you know what? Let's set it on your speeds.
Yeah, it was only about a 30-minute practice session. Harrison had the quickest times. By virtue of that, he will get the pole, and I think that was enough practice. We had a test here a couple of days ago, about 4 hours worth of running, and the majority of the guys were here.
So it's time now for our General Tire hashtag Anywhere is Possible 200 starting grid. We mentioned Harrison Burton. That's the Morton Buildings car. He'll start alongside of Riley Herbst. Only top fives every time he comes here in the 18. Behind him, you got Michael Self, the point leader, and Hailie Deegan. A great start for her in her Super Speedway debut.
Yeah, without a doubt, really looking forward to. She's trying to put the bad luck of Toledo a couple weeks ago behind her.
In row number 3, that's where you find Ty Majeski, our most recent winner. And how about row number 4? A couple of young 17-year-olds you're going to want to keep your eyes on. Canada's Raphael Lessard, Cole Class, and these kids know how to go quick.
Yeah, Raphael's a 6-time winner in the Cars Super Late Model Series.
Here's Christian Eckes. How about Brett Holmes? By the way, leading some laps at Charlotte. The first time ever in 48 previous races. He's finally led some laps. Now he wants to get that race.
Yeah, he has Shane Huffman calling the shots for him. That's going to be a good combination this year.
It certainly is. As you take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, getting set to go here at this very, very interesting racetrack. A track with 3 unique turns. That's what we'll be facing these drivers. Let's talk about our onboard cameras. We've got 4 of them, including the number 77 of Joe Graf Jr. That's the MyFace onboard camera, raising awareness as well as monetary support for patients with craniofacial conditions.
We're also going to ride along. This is the IKnon.com onboard. This is Hailie Deegan. Again, really impressive qualifying effort, starting 4th.
All season long, we've been riding along with Michael Self, watching the highs and lows of him. He's got the General Tire onboard camera, starting 3rd.
Riley Herbst will be driving for Coach Joe Gibbs, and this is the ARCA Coolers onboard. Riley will start from the front row.
And covering all the action down on pit road is Jamie Hallett, checking with her for the first time today.
Well, Dave, you and Phil talked about the unique challenges that this racetrack offers, and when you pair that with that lack of track time as well as some inexperience, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Now, 6 drivers have never raced here before. Of note is Hailie Deegan. Now, she does start 4th, as you guys said, but she's never raced a super speedway. She's never had to draft, and she admits she has a lot to learn over the course of this race. 2 others on that list are Tommy Vi Jr. in the number 10 and Scott Melton in the number 69. They were not here for the test day, so they only got that 30 minutes, and they line up on the second to last row.
Well, how about Hailie Deegan, Lessard, Glass, and they're all inside of the top 8, so it may be a steep learning curve, but they've got it going so far through practice. Phil, 200 miles around Pocono is 80 laps. Tell us more what we need to know about this particular race.
Well, our pit run was somewhere between 38 and 42 laps. That means these guys could make it on 1 pit stop if the caution fell just right, or they had to stop under green. Remember, caution laps will extend that pit window. You see, our first race here was back in 1983, and Harrison Burton won this race last year.
Harrison Burton did that in the car that happens to be underneath of Brett Holmes today as he makes the switch to the Toyota for this race.
Yeah, good equipment there. Shane Huffman was over there at MDM last year, and that's where that car came from.
Well, let's talk a little bit now about our Bounty Rookie Spotlight racer. It is Hailie Deegan. We've talked so much about her coming out of the off-road series where she did it in style, becoming the first female to do a lot of things in that series.
She's a pretty quick study, too, because when she jumped over in stock cars, really impressive. There she is making an aggressive move in Meridian, Idaho to get that win in the K&N series.
I love this move she made in Las Vegas earlier this year on the dirt to get her second K&N win. Look out, boys, I'm coming to the bottom. Excuse me, I'm going to the front.
There wasn't any room down there, was there?
No, absolutely not.
She made it work.
And of course, if you're thinking to yourself, Deegan, where do I know that name? Oh yeah, she is the daughter of none other than X Games legend Brian Deegan, sharing the same pressure to perform just like her father. Looks like it's a very vertical learning curve. She's dominating it.
She's doing well, for sure.
So she'll be fun to watch today as she makes her second ever ARCA start. Like that AK9 car as well.
It's a great looking car.
Long way around during some pace laps. Gives us an opportunity to talk about some other racers. Christian Eck, it's been a crazy year for him.
Really has. He's already been to victory lane, but he missed that race due to a sudden illness, really. And but it's come back strong.
Bobby Gerhart, the guy's been doing it longer than most, is in this field. Gerhart starting in the 13th spot.
This is his 60th start here at Pocono.
Boy, if I do some math, that means he's got to be a veteran of the sport. Let's just say the 60-year-old in his 60th start.
35 years old anyway, I would say.
All right, the pace car duck into the inside. They make their way down this long front stretch to the green flag. And it is go time here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
This is the fun part of this racetrack. Watch them fan out as they get down towards turn number 1. Only
look at Majeski in the 22, the black car on the bottom of your screen. Trying to make it 3 wide with the front row, but he nestles himself into 3rd after starting 5th in that 22.
Looks like Haley Deegan got caught up on the outside for just a moment. She's lost a couple spots.
But as they make their way into turn number 2, Riley Herbst, the Monster 18 machine. Just another, well, Friday night drive here for him at Pocono. A lot of success at this racetrack for that young man.
I talked to Ty Majeski's crew chief and owner, Chad Bryant, for the 22 car, and he said they never made a mock qualifying run and still had that great start. They said they felt like they had the car to beat.
There's the 28 machine. Raphael Lassard, 17 years old, out of Quebec. The only KBR development car. He is a Canadian hot shoe and definitely one to keep your eye on. Did lead 83 laps earlier this year at Pocono. Or excuse me, at Pensacola. They both start with P.
Start with a P. There's Joe Graff Jr., the 77 car. They're settled into the 6th spot. Looks like Cole Glasson went really high down in turn number 1 in the 32 car.
Meanwhile, as we work now lap number 2, just out of interest, where's your pole sitter? There's the 25 car, excuse me, your point leader, Michael Self. In the 25, he sits 10th, right in front of Travis Brayton. Those guys lock in the points battle.
Michael Self is backing up here a little bit. He qualified up in the 3rd spot. Must be having some sort of an issue here.
That's Glasson moving to the inside. Talked about that young man. He also comes in at 17 years of age. Actually shares the same birthday as Raphael Lassard. Like so many, started in karting, went to midget sprints, late models, various trucks, then to the ARCA series. The General Tire on board, Michael Self. What is going on with the point leader? Is he just biding his time? How much time can you buy at a big racetrack like this?
Looked like he really drove into turn number 1 pretty easy, but gained back all he lost through the center of the corner. You see him now pull up on the back bumper of the Glasson car.
He says he's trying to not get caught up in the points race just yet. However, it seems like most of the times when you talk with him, it's about managing the point situation. Very lucky to come out of Charlotte with that lead.
It looks like he has some issues there through the tunnel. You see him right in the middle, right side of your screen. This is back to the initial start. Who got really loose and maybe made contact with his teammate Haley Deegan in the 55.
Dropped all the way to 10th by the end of that first lap. Jamie Howe has more.
Listening in on the radio, he certainly hasn't said anything about any contact or any issues, but just before the race, he told me that one, you could call it a bad habit, he says, that he has is that he's constantly overdriving the car. He said you really have to be slower in and faster out. Here specifically, it seems to be magnified just a little bit, so that's something that he's working on. I don't know if it's coming into play here, but definitely keep an eye on it.
Jamie, I think you're exactly right. He looks like he's really easing in the corner. Then he makes some pretty good ground up through the center and off, although the time before through the tunnel turn, when he got into the bumps, it looked like he was late getting back to the throttle.
So it'll be interesting to see how he handles the rest of this race today. You see, it's been a pretty good season. Just a couple of hiccups along the way. Could have been that big one in Charlotte, but able to keep the car off the wall, maintain that point lead.
Yeah, what looked like a sure win there in Charlotte ended up with certainly still a top 5 finish.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're scoring at home right now, he finds himself 10.7 seconds behind last time by the scoring loop. from your race leader, Riley Herbst.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about is the practice speeds were over 170 miles an hour, which ultimately led to qualifying. Their best lap was what their qualifying lap was. These guys are really getting around here fast. They're just as fast as the Cup cars and the Xfinity cars, maybe even faster.
Joe Graff leads a trio of cars all battling for 6. That's Haley Deegan in the 55, the IK9.com car, looking to the inside of the 23 of Holmes, taking away 7th position.
Nice move by Haley Deegan to grab that spot from Brett Holmes.
Was very open about the nerves coming here, racing on the super speedway for the first time, talking about the front of the car, how it likes to move around, getting used to that sensation. And then there's that other thing called drafting that you learn kind of on the job.
Can you imagine going down that 3,700-foot straightaway for the first time?
Longest straightaway in motorsports. Seems you've been there before. Got to take forever, doesn't it?
It seems like it.
But then that wall comes up very, very quick. That's your onboard camera, the ARCA onboard with your race leader, Riley Herbst, who's opened up a 2-second lead over the rest of the ARCA Menards series racing here in Pocono, Pennsylvania today. Back at Pocono for the General Tire Anywhere is Possible 200. But this is the NASCAR Ganders Outdoor Truck Series. You ride along with Menards driver Matt Crafton. Boy, that series is so exciting. Matt does a great job. 2 top 5 finishes this year. Looking for that first win. All of this happening right here at Pocono. 2 top 5s here. We were just talking during the break as Matt Crafton joins Phil Parsons and myself now. Love this Pocono racetrack. It's definitely challenging.
Oh, it's very challenging. It's one of the places that I've struggled at. The very first time I ever went here, finished 3rd, and I'm like, this place isn't that bad. And then I have one in a backward spiral, and I circled on the calendar. At least I can watch this. Maybe if I can learn something from these ARCA guys.
Haley Deegan loses a couple positions there. Now she's going to try to get back underneath the 32 of Cole Glass, and Brett Holmes and Cole Glass were able to get by Haley. That's going to move her back to the 9th spot.
Riley Herbst continues to lead his Toyota ahead of Harrison Burton, who's now 2.8 seconds behind him. Which part specifically, Matt, of this racetrack, or is it a different nightmare on a different night?
Is it the turns?
Yeah, it's all three. It's all 3 turns. It's very good to watch the ARCA Menards series. I mean, for all these drivers to come here and just listen to all the age of all these guys coming up. I mean, 18 years old.
And girls.
Exactly. And I mean, just watching what she's doing right now. I mean, she's driving through them, and she's doing a very good job. The tunnel turn. I took my crew chief. We were doing a tire test here a few years back, and I took my crew chief to the tunnel turn, and we talked about going wide open through there in a truck, and he told me, there's no way. And you did it. It's the most intimidating corner that we do.
It looks really rough. You see Haley Deegan get a little bit loose there on exit. Michael Self's going to try to make the move to get underneath her, but it looks like it's really rough down there in the tunnel turn.
Yes, it's gotten a lot rougher over the last couple of years. First 2-3 years after they paved it really smooth. After that, it's gotten a lot rougher through that tunnel turn. Definitely gives a lot more character for sure.
Deegan, the 17-year-old, a little traffic on the inside from Michael Self. Let's get more on Deegan and what's going on with the 55 car with Jamie.
Well, his spotter, Frankie Kimmel, saying bad timing with the lap car. You can get him back, but he warned her. He said, don't overdrive it. Just let it come back to you. You guys know this, Matt. You could talk to this point. As a young driver, how difficult is that to stay in the car and remain patient?
Oh, that's the hardest part. When you catch somebody, when you're catching them, and you catch them at the wrong point, and you catch them right in the middle of the tunnel turn, or right, there's no good options here to be able to have a second, third lane. And the bottom is the preferred lane, and as you see, she caught it in the wrong place, and you'll lose 10, 15 car lengths on the people behind you just catching them in the wrong spot, and they'll go by you, and the next thing you know, 2 or 3 go by.
And that was a lap car, the 48 of Brad Smith. When you see Brad with his left side right on the yellow line, he didn't do anything wrong. It's just a bad break for Haley.
Yeah, he did nothing wrong. He was trying to get out of the way, and this is where I need to be, and I'm trying to keep my car clean as well.
3 unique turns. How important is focus all the way around? And when that focus gets shook up by a lap car, how tough is it to get that gathered back in?
Oh, that's very tough, just to keep your composure and not get angry. And the first thing you want to do is blame the lap guy. And I mean, it was my fault because I didn't do the right thing. It's always lap guy. So definitely get it back together, and you're going to be mad about it for a lap. And get yourself going.
You know, Matt, we talk about this racetrack being a compromise. You know, you really want to be good in turn 3. A lot of people think because that leads you down that 3,700-foot long straightaway. But I have had times there, and I wonder if it was the same for you with the truck, where my car was good in all 3 corners. It seemed like it just worked.
I've been terrible on all of them.
You haven't been there yet?
Yeah, we have been decent. I think the tunnel turn and turn 3 are the most critical points of that racetrack. You're going so fast through the tunnel turn, so little to throttle off, and then turn 3, you're going down the longest straightaway in motorsports. So.
How about Riley Herbst, what he's doing right now? Holds almost a 3.5-second lead. The quickest lap of this race by more than a second. This kid's just flat getting it right now.
Oh, yeah, he's checking out. I mean, there's nothing like clean air. I mean, clean air is the king for sure. He's doing a great job.
And we know he knows how to get around this place. He won this race a couple years ago. Has piled up some really great top 5 finishes. Every time he's been here, he's finished in the top 5.
Let's check in with Jamie.
Riley actually got a new engine since that test day on Wednesday. They thought it was laying down. They figured out after they changed the engine that it was actually a brake caliper that was hanging up. But he was just talking to his crew chief, Mark McFarland. He said, how is my pace? What are the lap times? Like Mark said, you're doing great, dude. Just run whatever feels comfortable. You don't want to overdrive it. You don't want to wear out one end over the other.
Riley picking up the win here at Pocono 2017 in just his 6th start. Now, Matt Crafton, I turn to you. What's happened to him since? He's had 8 podiums in this series, 5 runner-up finishes, but can't seem to get that second win. What level of frustration are you at?
Oh, it's beyond frustrating when you get that first win and then the second one just takes forever. And right now we've been in a slump, and this year we finally got our Ford F-150s going the right direction, and still, I mean, as many races I've won, we still haven't won in a year and a half, and it's going, man, when are we going to do this? Or are we going to do it again? So it'll come.
Michael Self starting to show a little speed, a little impatience, currently 9th in the number 25 car with Brett Holmes, the 23, right in front of him.
Yeah, we looked for Michael Self to be a little more competitive here. Again, he started way up in the top 5 and dropped back, as we documented, back all the way to the 10th position on the initial start. And now he's trying to make his way back up. He's only really gained 1 spot back.
Just how good is Riley Herbst? 8 positions in front of him. Michael Self is trailing by 26 seconds. That's more than a half a lap.
In 14 laps.
In 14 laps. That's how good Riley is, and that's the struggles Michael Self's trying to do getting around this 23 car.
Yeah, Matt was commenting during a commercial break that it looked like it sounded like that something was dragging on the racetrack, so that may be why he was looking to be so easy getting in the corners. Then he was making some time up from the center off, but now with the air pressures that built up, that situation should get a little bit better.
Yeah, it'll definitely get better, but now he's playing catch-up. He's
now
so
he's
far
20
back,
seconds behind.
and he's in dirty air. And I mean, we hate that word, but at the end of the day, you're back there and a lot more vehicles around you, so the air is disturbed more. And Riley's out here on a Sunday drive.
8 days ago, though, he was in the wall in Charlotte, frustrated after a good run comes to a close. Said it was his own fault, and right now he's got his destiny in his own hands, leading through 15 of 80 here at the General Tire. Anywhere is possible. 200. Phil Parsons, Gander Outdoors Truck Series racer Matt Crafton. I'm Dave Reef in the booth. Jamie House patrolling all the action down on pit road at Pocono Raceway. The General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible 200, where it is a coming out party for 2019, and Riley Herbst in that 18 machine.
Been so impressive. At least the last lap, Harrison Burton actually ran a little bit quicker, and we're hearing that maybe Harrison Burton has made his way to pit road. He was the fastest car that last lap that he ran. Now looks like he may be headed to pit road.
Right front tire.
Definitely some smoke pouring out of the front wheel well there.
We heard about some issues with tires during the test session, but it was left front tires. Maybe they thought too little air pressure and too much camber, but that's certainly a right front tire issue there for Harrison Burton.
Bobby Gerhart on pit road as well. You know, the Tommy Vi Jr. is in the Bounty rookie point standings. He's been a couple times behind the wall. They're showing him out of this race right now. Tommy Vi, the leader in that rookie points race. Burton back out on the track. How much space, how much time did he lose? Will the cautions fall just right? All questions to be found out later.
Well, this racetrack is so big, quite possibly he was able to come down pit road, change 2 tires, and not lose a lap, because he was certainly within contact within about 5 seconds of our leader, Riley Herbst. We'll see when the scoring adjusts when we come back around whether he was able to stay on the lead lap or not.
When Chase Miller won this race back in June of 2006, that set off a 26-race winless streak without a repeat winner. She now got smoke pouring out of the 32 machine.
That's a left front tire. We're just talking about that. We had some left front tire issues during testing. Cole Glasson is going to lose a left front tire. He lost it in the worst possible place getting in turn 1. 2 miles that he has to ride around this racetrack before he can get to pit road.
At least it didn't blow when he was turning down into the
Good point. Good point. Much better to do it on the straightaway.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but it looks to possibly be shredding a little bit as we go here. Can he limp his way all the way around? Gerhart off the pace again in the 5 car.
Yeah, Bobby Gerhart was just on pit road a few moments ago. Not sure exactly what his issue is right here, but looks like Cole Glasson, as he goes to the tunnel turn, he still has to go all the way around the short chute and turn 3 before he can make his way to pit road.
Pick up a couple of loose ends here. Gerhart speeding on pit road, has to come through for a pass through.
And you can see left side on their pylon that Harrison Burton was not able to stay on the lead lap, but he is the first car 1 lap down as of now. If the caution flag were to come out, he could take the wave around and be back on the lead lap.
And the reason I mentioned 26 races without a repeat winner, the only 2 racers in this field that could change that, Harrison Burton, who has struggled. Glasson's down on pit road. Riley Herbst is looking really, really good to change that as he continues to lead this race. It's ballooned to a 13-second lead for the monster driver.
Yeah, Glasson actually lost a lap before he even got to pit road. He was so slow all the way around the racetrack.
I guarantee you Burton saw a lot of debris out on the racetrack whenever he was driving around there hoping for that yellow.
Just screaming at his crew chief. Tell him there's debris everywhere.
Cole Glasson is a really interesting kid. Not only is he a great racer, but a very smart kid as well. Was the valedictorian at the Texans Connections Academy and online college prep. He's currently at the University of Lynchburg studying mechanical engineering, but he's on pit road right now as Michael Self, still trying to work his way around the 23.
That's a battle for the fifth position. Brett Holmes right now is 42 seconds behind our leader, Riley Herbst, and they're lapping this racetrack at about 54 seconds a lap. We talk about our pit window being somewhere between 38 and 42 laps. If this race goes green because of the pace laps, they're probably going to have to stop a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the pace that he is taking right now, I'm looking at how far is he behind the guys, the top 5 guys. Man, he's setting a blistering pace without a doubt.
And I'm sure his crew chief, Mark McFarland, is saying, hey, you know, just take it easy. You got a huge lead. And he's probably saying, I am taking it easy.
Yeah, that's impressive. I may need to go talk to this kid about going around this racetrack.
Top 5 are Herbst, Majeski, Rafael Lessard, the Canadian hot shoes in 3rd, Christian Eckes, followed by Holmes. Holmes trying to hold off Self, the General Tire onboard camera, the point leader. I'll focus to see about getting around. Listen to him work that throttle, that tight corner.
You had to pedal that throttle a little bit. Obviously, these cars don't have quite the greenhouse, that stand-up windshield that a truck has, as we see Travis Braden coming to pit road. Matt, do you have to use much brake in a truck getting in turn 1 here?
Yeah, you definitely use a fair amount of brake, not a ton, but when you do burp the throttle like that, the recovery on them, I mean, you can lose so much. Just, I mean, if you squeeze the throttle, I mean, 50% out for just that split second you're leaving the corner, you can lose half a second, no problem. I mean, just...
Poor tires for Travis Braden.
Meanwhile, it's a torrid pace as Riley Herbst puts Brad Smith now 4 laps down. How torrid a pace is that monster machine running right now? There are only 8 cars on the lead lap. Hopefully it doesn't lap them all before we get back from commercial. Back with more green flag action at the General Tire, anywhere as possible, 200. Riley Herbst is putting on a clinic today at the General Tire, anywhere as possible, 200. 28 laps in the books of 80, and he's already lapped up to 6. I think the anywhere as possible he's heading is victory lane, but still a long way to go.
Well, we thought that last week at Charlotte too. He had by far the fastest car in practice, and it just didn't transfer over to the race, and he ended up getting in the wall late in the race, battling up in the top 2 or 3 positions.
Matt Crafton, how many days have you had in your truck or any other racing material or machine for that instance where it's just that good, just that easy?
When it's right, it is just that easy. It feels up. We got a yellow.
Caution out on the racetrack for the first time. It comes on lap 29. Riley Herbst probably a little upset to see that. Troubles for Bobby Gerhart. He's been having issues all afternoon, and ultimately his car stops. That's what brings out the yellow. It gives us a moment to at least pause. Gives everybody else an opportunity to see what they can do with that 18 car.
Yeah, we, the crew chief, need to make some adjustments here to try to keep up with that 18 car. We're going to have 7 cars when we go back racing on the lead lap. Haley Deegan will get the free pass. Michael Self was on the verge of going a lap down, running in the 6th spot. Bobby was able to get his car refired and now making his way back to pit road.
And it looks like Haley Deegan will get the free pass, get back on the lead lap. So we'll have 7 cars. And if you're Brett Holmes, Michael Self, and Haley Deegan, you get to erase about 52 seconds of deficit.
They were
get an opportunity to get back up front.
They were very happy to see that yellow for sure.
And an opportunity to work on these cars a little bit. They need to work on them. Sometimes it's just a adjustment or 2 away from being certainly more competitive.
Of course, everybody knows about Haley Deegan's father, the X Games legend Brian Deegan, who once raced with Jimmy Johnson off-road and motocross as well. Yes, the same Jimmy Johnson. And that's where she got her start, off-road. And wherever she's wanted to go, she's been driven, and she's proven that she's able to do it. You remember your first time, Matt Crafton, getting on a super speedway and getting the sense of what 180, 190 miles an hour feels like?
Yeah, it was very, very interesting because we didn't have all the driver committees back in the day in the NASCAR. So I had raced in Phoenix and I had raced Las Vegas once in a late model, and then Duke and Rhonda, they gave me a call, and then Terry, the driver that they had before, he says, I want to not finish with you guys, and they called me, do you want to race Fontana at the end of the year? Yeah,
sure. Only 2 miles,
yeah,
it's 80 or 90 miles.
Exactly, yeah, for sure, I'm in. So went there for my first race, and it was...
Perhaps a little drama here as we've got some pit stops coming up. Riley Herbst the first to his box. Jamie.
And Riley was concerned talking to his crew chief, Mark McFarland, whether or not cars were catching him. They said, as long as we make the right decisions here, ain't nobody have anything for us, was the response that he got back. They're going to take 4 tires. They're going to top them off with fuel. They're also making a slight track bar adjustment just to keep the car a little more comfortable. Rafael Lessard also on pit lane. 4 new tires for him as well. It was tight on that last run, so they're going to make a couple adjustments. They're concerned about fuel. Can they make it to the end? That's the question mark now.
Ain't nobody touched Riley Herbst's team so far. Best pit stop. He's first off.
Yeah, issues for Ty Majeski on pit road. He made a big adjustment. They also had trouble on the right side. Slow pit stop.
So a little drama here as we're 30 laps of 80. Still 50 laps to go, though, around the tricky triangle. So the work on the 18 maybe wasn't letter perfect, but the way Riley Herbst is driving that Toyota today, he's going to be tough to beat. Back with the ARCA Menards series on a beautiful day for racing here at the Pocono Raceway. It is the General Tire hashtag anywhere possible 200. We take a look now at our General Tire Super Speedway Challenge, the race within a race for car owners. Comprised of 9 events. This the last, though, Phil, of the double points. How do you get double points?
Races that are sponsored by General Tire will give you double points. So this is the last of 4. Then we all have 5 more. The next one being next week at Michigan, which we'll have right here on Fox Broadcasting.
1 week from tonight. You betcha. Billy Venturini continuing to lead the way, much as he has. Those Venturini cars have been strong no matter who, where, or when.
And this is the owners. Is who is listed here with the Super Speedway Challenge.
You are on board the IK9.com car that is Haley Deegan. Problems with the 55, Jamie?
When she came in for that pit stop, they got the tires changed, but she did not get any fuel in that car. What they cannot do is come back to pit road to get fuel right now because they will lose the lucky dog. So right now they're talking through the strategy and how they're going to adjust to the mistake that happened.
We also saw the 25 on pit road for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, they actually had a jack stand under the left side of the 25 car. We know he was having issues early in the race, so they took the time to work on it. Good view of Michael Self right there with a Sinclair Toyota.
It seems like that points leader has been a snake bit position, able to hold on to it despite the spin out in Charlotte. It seems like Matt Crafton has changed hands every time. This is the first time the ARCA Menards Series has raced with back-to-back races with the same point leader.
Wow, that's tough, without a doubt. Maybe you don't want to be the points leader.
That's what he was thinking. I don't know if I think that way or not. Field starts to kind of line up. How about Rafael Lessard? Is he showing his 17-year-old moxie or what, lining up outside the race leader?
Yeah, he did a nice job that early stretch of the race, staying up in the top 5.
As much as we talk about going super speedway racing, you coming in for pit stops. I mean, that everything's new when you're that young. But he was able to do a good job with that team.
Yeah, a lot of times you go out and you're running 180 miles an hour and you drive down pit road and you're 55 and it still feels like you're crawling, and it's so easy to slide through your pit box at a lot of these places.
So 32 laps are down, 48 to go. You got the Xfinity boys coming your way tomorrow. There's the Monster boys on Sunday. We talked about problems for 25 on pit road for a long time. Here's a fuel pickup issue. I'm just trying to figure out how to make him faster. Right now, when the green flag gets set to come out, the 25 will be scored in position 6.
The 55,
and there is the green.
55 of Haley Deegan splits off, going to pit road.
And you got to love that front stretch. A racetrack that could be 4, 5, 6 cars wide. Got to make some hay while the opportunity is there. And Lessard not giving Herbst any room.
Got 18 car strong though on the outside. Going to ease back around Lessard.
He needs to stay in his tire tracks and see what he can learn right now.
Tom Majeski moves to the inside of the 23 of Brett Holmes to take a spot.
Fuel only for the 55. As Haley Deegan gets set to come back on the racetrack.
Tom Majeski makes the way around the 15 of Christian Eckes. Christian looked like he wanted to throw the block there, but Tom Majeski able to make the move anyway. Now he's going to move to the inside of Lessard for second.
All kinds of moves going on this racetrack. The only move that hasn't changed yet is position number 1, Riley Herbst, opening up again.
Might be 3 wide here for a moment. Brett Holmes is going to move to the outside.
You're telling me this isn't the place to do that?
Well, that's the place to do it, down the front straightaway for sure. See if Brett Holmes can fight back through the crossover, and he is able to get by Lessard.
Education happening right there as the 28 machine falls back a little bit after looking pretty racy at the restart there.
This is only the second.
Outside tunnel turn. I would have did that.
Yeah.
He learned something right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much my entire career was a single lane there through the tunnel turn.
Yeah. Without it, he might have left rear going down there. It's really
They
low.
look so low. They started these air pressures so low. I was talking to some of the crew chiefs, Matt, and they said you don't want to go below about 20 pounds because they had some issues during the test with people fudging that a little bit, getting down below 20, and they lost some left front tires in the test.
That's what those crew chiefs do.
Here's another look at that. Watch the 28 car on the outside. That's not the place to be, especially when that front end washes out.
He got in those bumps down there, started wiggling, had to chase that thing up the racetrack. Fortunately, he had enough room before he got to the outside safer barrier.
For Rafael, big question mark 2019. Able to make a couple of starts, though, in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. 3 K&N races, and now here in Pocono today with the ARCA Series, another proving race. Do you remember your proving races where you had the opportunity to kind of showcase your skills, Matt Crafton?
Oh yeah, that's what's so great about the ARCA Menards series, and it boosting you into the Camp World Truck Series and the Cup Series. So it's just a great series. You get to go to a lot of these 1.5-mile racetracks, 2-mile racetracks, and I grew up on the short tracks, and that's what a lot of these kids are doing now. And then they come to the ARCA Menards series. On board with itself, the 25, improving a position to 6, dropping the 28 back to 7.
Had a good run.
A little better for self now.
Good run through the center and off of turn number 3 and grabs that spot.
Now in front of the 25 is the 27.
Travis is being shown 2 laps down. Travis Braden in that 27 car.
So that's not a race for position. Next up, though, on the hit list for the 25 car is Harrison Burton. The gap between them about 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, Harrison was able to take the wave around when the caution flag came out. We documented that he had that flat tire. There he is right there in the Morton Buildings Toyota. Had that flat tire, came down pit road, made a green flag pit stop, lost a lap, but was able to stay on the racetrack. But he pitted on lap number 19, so these guys have 11 laps more fuel than he does.
You know what is interesting, though? Riley Herbst is not driving away from the field. In fact, he's getting a lot of pressure from the 22 of Ty Majeski now, about 0.6 of a second behind. Will the 22 get closer, trying to go back-to-back in the ARCA Menards Series winner's circle? Find out with us. Still a long way to go at the General Tire. Anywhere is possible. 200. It has been 8 days since the driver of car number 22, Ty Majeski, became the 334th different ARCA Menards Series winner. And he's got eyes on going back-to-back today in Pocono as he is eaten up and catching your race leader, Riley Herbst. What's going on with the 18, Jamie?
Well, I mentioned at that pit stop that Mark McFarland, the crew chief, said as long as we make the right adjustments. Well, what Riley is relaying back to them is that perhaps they did not. They said that the car is really, really loose right now. They're telling him you've got to make the straightaways longer. You've got to roll more speed into the tunnel turn. And the other piece of information they're giving him is where he is better than Ty Majeski right behind him. And for you guys in the booth, Phil, Matt, as a driver, how that information has to be so important when you're fighting for the lead.
Oh, without a doubt. And seeing where the guy in front of you, he's beating you or you're beating him, all that information the spotter can give you, and doing segment times, there's so much they can give you to help you just being the eyes in the sky for you.
That's the battle for fifth. The 25 trying to get around Harrison Burton. An eventful week for him. Racing in Charlotte, graduating the next day, Friday morning, from Cannon High School out there in Charlotte. Now back in action here in Pocono. Holding off the 25 at this point.
Yeah, I think that was good information that they were giving Riley Herbst, because it looks like the 22 of Majeski strong suit is that tunnel turn, and that's what where it looked like that Riley was losing the most time.
And if you're loose, you don't want to go through that tunnel turn. that is a very, very fast corner, and it's a very sharp corner. And TV just doesn't even do it justice how sharp that corner is and how fast you go through it.
Looks like Riley is good on exit of turn number 3, because that leads him onto this long straightaway, and he's able to build a little bit of a gap.
That's the flattest corner of this racetrack, and you're always usually the tightest there. So I'm sure if he's free in turn 1 and 2, it feels better in 3 to help him down the front straightaway.
Little gap for Riley Herbst. There's Majeski caught it behind the lap car of Ed Pompa. That's the Clemson car. Got a lot of attention when we raced in Talladega. Clemson, of course, winning the national title this year.
But look how much ground he lost just by catching that lap car at the wrong time, talking about Ty Majeski. And then he's going to gain some of it back here through the tunnel turn.
They can make you break for sure.
So one thing Ty Majeski has taught us, though, in our 11 races, it's very, very good. One thing Michael Self has taught us this year, well, what has he taught us? It's been highs, it's been lows for him.
Got a low right now. You see there's the 28 of Lassard going by. Looks like he's coming to pit road.
Yes, he is. More problems.
The right side tires are up. He's in his pit window right now. Is this a strategy call, Jamie?
No, it is not. He's telling the team that he actually has a right rear tire that is down. So they are going to go ahead and replace those tires and top it off with fuel. But this is not a scheduled pit stop.
Already 23 seconds behind Riley Herbst. Figures to go at least a lap down based on how long it takes.
Boy, that tire's not completely flat. We'll see. We'll get a look at it as they take it off. It's still bouncing. I think there's air in that right rear tire, don't you, Matt?
Yeah, and it could be left or just easy. It's hard to feel it for sure.
Well, he's going to know soon enough. He just took 2 tires.
A little left rear smoke.
Yeah. That right rear tire certainly could have been low. It certainly wasn't flat.
There is definitely an issue with the 25 car.
You see him going a lap down. There's our second place car, Ty Majeski, going by.
Majeski now almost a second off the pace. Back to Jamie.
Further communication now on the radio of Michael Self is that they believe they have a broken axle. So he's out there turning the laps, but a lot of despair on the faces of the crew members.
Left tire definitely was burning out when they left the pit box. Right side was having a hard time spinning.
Yes, sir. That's gonna be a tough day, and especially going that fast, only having one tire driving you, you're going to have a long rest of the race.
You know, Christian Eckes broke an axle in practice today, that early part of practice today, from the same team.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something with what these guys are doing with the skew on these vehicles.
Let's see if you guys can pick up anything on our General Tire onboard camera.
I think just one wheel is driving that car, and that's why he was pedaling the throttle there. As Matt said, this is going to be a handful. This is not going to be something that that you would be able to do repairs on during a caution lap. Even though the caution laps take so long here, it might take a while.
Yeah, you just got to ride this one out for the rest of the race.
So how damaging will it be?
Or if they have enough yellows, they can come in under yellow and possibly get it changed. But
Yeah, if it's broken in two, if they can get both pieces out, that's going to be the
tough
question.
part.
His closest pursuers are Brett Holmes and Travis Braden. Holmes on the lead lap. Braden's a couple laps behind him. Jamie, you got more?
Well, you mentioned Christian Eckes having a problem with the axle in the practice today. It was broken. The axle was broken in the drive plate, so as a precaution, they went ahead and looked at all 4 of the Venturini cars and changed that drive plate in all 4 cars. So this is something they have experience with already today. Clearly an issue they're going to have to address when we leave Pocono.
Yeah, one thing we were talking about is as you look at these cars coming down the straightaway, it looks like they're crabbing. The right side, the right rear corner sticks way out. That's because of the skew in these cars. As we take a look at some of these good cars as they come down the front straightaway, not all the cars have that skew, but most of the cars running up front will have that skew. And that's to give them more side force. So they can lean on that side force getting down in the corner. You can see it right there. You see how that right rear corner is sticking out. That exposes that spoiler to some air. That gives them some more side force and down force. But then it's also hard on those drive plates. That could be the issue there, Matt.
Absolutely. I mean, these cars are turned so sideways you can't even see the left rear quarter panel on them.
Self continuing to struggle back there. Now being scored 8, a lap down. Christian Eckes wondered if he was able to climb his way back into this points race. Certainly looks like he'll have that opportunity now.
That's a great illustration of how crooked those cars run down the straightaway. And that's how the Cup cars looked a few years ago until they got control of that. There's really no skew rule in the ARCA series, so it's just however much you can stand. And again, that could be an issue with why those drive plates are going.
47 laps down, 33 to go. Riley Herbst continues to lead, but Ty Majeski's mounting another charge here today at the General Tire Anywhere is Possible 200. Will he catch him? Find out with us on the backside. Back just past halfway, the 68th General Tire hashtag Anywhere is Possible 200 here. Beautiful day for racing in the ARCA Menards series at Pocono, and guess what? The Morton Buildings Toyota has a big-time problem. That's Harrison Burton, who was being scored in the 5th place position.
Yeah, that's the second right front tire that Harrison Burton has lost. He has overcome that, got back up into the top 5. He's going to have to make another green flag pit stop here. Good news is he will be able to go the rest of the way from this pit stop if we go green, and now all the competitors in front of him will have to stop again.
Jamie's there.
And they said that we are going to take 4 tires here. There's 2 already on. The right side's on, adjusting the left side now. They're also going to make an adjustment and go 1 down on the track bar.
Go on and off is Harrison Burton. I mentioned a recent high school graduate. Big win earlier this year at Daytona. Still trying to find that sweet spot once again.
Second right front tire that he's lost. Sometimes you wonder whether maybe it has something to do with the setup, the camber, which is how far the tire leans in at the top, or air pressure possibly.
This just in, Riley Herbst continues to lead. He has led all 51 of our 80 laps thus far. Ty Majeski seems like he's ready to mount a charge here as you take a look at the rest of our Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. Let's take you all the way back to the start, where he has led from the start.
Every single lap.
Guess we don't need to show you that when he's led every lap, right?
But Ty Majeski is right there ever since this last restart here back around lap 34.5. Ty's been able to stay within a second of Riley Herbst. Sometimes he's got up a little bit closer right now, being shown about 0.6 of a second behind, excuse me.
Christian Eckes is in third in that 15 Toyota. He's maintained about a 4 to 5 second gap. So if he could get himself up there, could make this a three-way battle.
Look how much time Riley Herbst is going to lose. Matt was just pointing at it, how much time he was going to lose as he caught that lap car at the wrong place.
And it was Ed Pompa that helped Riley Herbst a little bit ago, and now just got in the way and allowed that gap to close.
It's a good run through the center of turn number 3 for the 22 of Majeski.
Yeah, Riley had to kind of block him, get into 3, like, no.
You see Riley trying to move around a little bit, try to break the draft.
That air, yep.
The draft is so important with these ARCA cars as we run speeds upwards of 180 miles an hour.
Especially on a 3,700-foot straightaway.
Riley needs to keep looking out the front window because his car came to him as loose as it was at the beginning of that run, and maybe he can drive back away from him.
He gained a little bit of ground off of turn number 1. This is where Ty Majeski has been so good through the tunnel turn. Let's see if he can gain on Riley on exit there. Looks like he may gain just a little bit, but not a lot.
This has been Riley's strong suit right here, turn 3. See what happens.
He's really been able to get off the turn 3. You see that Majeski gains on him getting in the corner, but Riley has been able to get back to the throttle early and open that up, but didn't look like it that time.
He stayed with him pretty good right there. It's amazing once you get that close to somebody. You get a couple car lengths and you can always pick yourself up a 10th or 2 just because because you can smell him at that point. And you're saying, I can smell that clean air, and I get a checkered flag right here.
But just as soon as that gap closes up, it seems like it widens back out again. That's got to be demoralizing.
Like in accordion, it looked like Riley's really good down there in turn number 1. He gained some ground there. Now this again, Ty Majeski. Let's see if he can gain back some of that deficit as he gets in and through the tunnel. He does gain a little bit, certainly, and then off the corner.
Burton's passing Deegan for the lucky dog.
And this is an important position right here as these two teammates, the 55 of Haley Deegan, the 20 of Harrison Burton, are battling to be the top running car 1 lap down. If the caution flag were to come out, that lead 1 lap car down will get the free pass.
By the way, that was racing for 6th place. It's just how good Riley Herbst has been. Haley doing a good job. Struggled in her ARCA debut.
Had her hands full right there.
She looks a little free. She definitely looks a little.
And allowed Harrison Burton to drive up beside her. Now she's going to fight back on the outside. And Brett Holmes is going to try to pass them both. That's our 4th place running car who is on the lead lap. The 32 of Glasson is 2 laps down. We documented his flat tire early. Look at that run through the center of the corner for Harrison Burton. Just drove by. That's a 10th place running Cole Glasson in the 32 car. Again, being shown 2 laps down. Let's ride along with Haley right here. Those are bumps through the tunnel turn. Now she's in the short straight between turns 2 and turns 3. Very, very flat. 6 degrees of banking down there in turn number 3. Leads into this long 3,700-foot straightaway. She's lost a lot of ground to that 20 of Harrison Burton here just in the last lap.
Oh, but she is definitely learning a lot as well. She said that was going to be a focal point of this day. Well, the learning curve continues to be good. She rides at 7th as Riley Herbst continues to lead. Now 24 laps to go here at Pocono. The General Tire, anywhere is possible 200. On board with 20-year-old Riley Herbst, the Orca Coolers onboard camera. He's seen this view all day. The race leader of the General Tire hashtag anywhere is possible 200. Just a simply dominating performance. A lead now that's opened up to a 2nd over Ty Majeski, the Charlotte winner from 8 days ago. 21 laps to go behind Majeski. It's the 15 of Eckes, the 23 of Holmes, and the 28 of Rafael Lessard making a great debut, the 17-year-old. But now finding himself a lap down. Only 4 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, there's a Toyota right there of Brett Holmes, really doing a nice job. He's about a half a lap behind our leader, Riley Herbst, here with 21 laps to go. But he's done a great job staying on the lead lap here. Shane Huffman has really made a huge difference with that organization coming over to call the shots. They're really doing a nice job for Brett Holmes.
And that is the Toyota chassis that actually won this race with Harrison Burton, Shane Huffman at the controls last year.
Yeah, Brett Holmes has only had 2 finishes outside of the top 10 this year. 18th at Daytona and a 14th at Talladega on the super speedways. Every other finish in the top 10.
Nothing flashy, just a picture of consistency. Matt Crafton joins us on an off weekend for the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. You'll get going again next week.
Yeah, we're looking forward to getting back to the racetrack. We've got a lot of momentum on our side, but we set on the pole last two races, so really looking forward to going to Texas.
There's Rafael Lessard, the 28 car, doing a real nice job. He's up in the top 5, but he got lapped just a few moments ago, so that puts him now in the free pass position. We talked about that battle between Harrison Burton and Haley Deegan for the free pass spot. Now that spot would go to Rafael Lessard if the caution were to come out.
Thermo Boyce on the hood. That is a custom kitchen cabinetry company out of Canada. If you follow him on Twitter, you read a lot of French Canadian. 55, Deegan's back on pit road.
Again, everybody was going to have to make another pit stop. This will get here in their window, obviously, to make it the rest of the way. Our top 4 running cars will still have to make another pit stop before the end of this race.
A race that's only been slowed by 1 caution so far. Matt Crafton, I mentioned, has joined us. A career that spanned 5 ARCA races. You were on your way at IRP. Almost got a checker flag and a trophy.
Yeah, I was definitely wanting that one. Like I said, that ARCA Menards series, it was going to be nice to get that win in Indy. That was one of my favorite racetracks to go to, and right front caliper failure, getting in one, and we destroyed it.
Hard contact.
Oh yeah, very hard, without a doubt. When you lose your brakes on that little 5/8 mile, you're not going to hit easy.
Nothing failing on the 18 car for Riley Herbst so far today. Says he's tired of having himself and this team, the Coy Gibbs team, in the 2nd spot. They say they got to get this team on top of the podium, and he's been the cream of the crop today.
He has. Let's do also mention that the 28 of Lessard, when we documented him going a lap down, that's because he made a pit stop under green. He's good to go to the end of this race.
Let's check in with Jamie.
On Lessard making that pit stop, he actually had a vibration. There was a chunk of tire missing, so they did go ahead and make that pit stop. All good now as we ride on board with Riley Herbst. He is still complaining about the car being loose. The team is telling him, don't worry about it. They're using a little bit of reverse psychology. They're saying, don't think about the word loose. Think about how tight the car is. You can do this. You've got all the controls you need in there. Riley said, my side view mirror fell off, and they responded. They said, you don't need it anyway. Just look out the windshield.
We saw him catch the 1 of Ed Pompa there over in turn number 3. That cost him 7/10 of a second. Ty Majeski made up 7/10 of his deficit on that last lap.
It's all about catching the lap cars in the right spot.
Christian Eckes now on pit road. Christian figuring to gain back some points lost earlier. Finds himself 3rd at the moment. Brett Holmes should get around him and take that position away as Eckes tries to stay on the lead lap.
Oh, overshoots his pit. That's going to cost him a lot of time as they have to push his car back, Jamie.
There's going to be right side tires only. The word to him is we are not waiting on fuel. Right side tires only. You mentioned overshot just a little bit, but he's out.
Getting down now to 17 to go. Majeski seems to be the only threat to Riley Herbst. But those are 2 teams that probably have a pit stop yet to be made.
Yeah, I think maybe somewhere between the next 5 and 7 laps at least, we're going to see our top 2, Herbst and Majeski, come to pit road.
Majeski and Herbst are coming around the corner right now. Are they going to be able to put Eckes a lap down?
It's going to be close.
I guarantee all the crew chiefs are going to be watching. Don't slide through your pit stall. And as a rookie, it's so easy to do, running 180 miles an hour down the front straightaway, and then you run 55 down pit road. It seems like you're going slow, but these things just don't seem to stop that well. Come here, pit stops at these places.
That's Eckes right there in the 15 car, right in front of Riley Herbst. Riley's going to stay on the racetrack.
That's Joe Graff in the 77, providing the meat in that sandwich. Majeski able to get around him. Now he has the sights set on Herbst again. Herbst, though, is going to have troubles getting around Eckes. Is he? Nope, doesn't appear to be.
Well, Riley made a strong move down into turn number 1. Gained a lot of ground on Christian Eckes. Remember, Christian has new right side tires on that 15 car.
Travis Braden in. If you're the leader, though, that's the last thing you want is somebody racing with you for position, trying to hold on to a lap.
Oh, you're screaming at that point because just get him out of my way. But at the same time, he's trying to stay on lead lap just in case they get a caution. Oh, you're going to get a lead change here, possibly.
Here he comes, Majeski to the inside. For the first time all day, there's a new race leader, and it happens on lap 66.
There's Riley, been so good there in turn number 3. He's going to fight back and try to grab that lead back, side by side. Riley Herbst is going to lead that lap.
Let me amend my previous statement. Herbst continues to lead all laps.
Not every second of every lap is he led, though. What a great battle we have going on here. Just inside of 15 laps to go. And again, another pit stop. This race could be won or lost on pit road here.
You're scoring at home, Brett Holmes in the 23, looking for his first win in his 49th start. He's 33 seconds behind. Do we know if he's made his pit stop?
No, he's coming to pit road, I believe, right now. I think the call was for Brett Holmes to come to pit road right now.
So Holmes will give back the 3rd position to Christian Eckes. Now the question for Holmes, can he stay on the lead lap?
He won't stay on the lead lap until those guys come to pit road. Looks like it's going to be right side tires and a chassis adjustment for Brett Holmes. It's hard to make those chassis adjustments. They take too much time there, but a good quick adjustment. A little late maybe leaving pit road as Ty Majeski, our 2nd place guy, comes to pit road. To see what Chad Bryant-led crew's going to do. Looks like right side tires. They don't have to wait on fuel with only 13 laps to go. Going to be a chassis adjustment. And the track bar going to raise that track bar just a little bit. Good stop by the guys.
So how will all of this play out? They both come down to pit road at the same time. We can see the difference. We'll have to wait and see, though, how long it takes Riley Herbst and that 18 team.
Looked like pretty good pit work there by Ty Majeski's guys. Make sure he didn't get busted for speeding coming in or coming out.
And they're telling Riley right now, do not slide through your pit box.
Majeski, solid every time. 1 win, 9 top 10s, and 11 starts. He's only missed 2 laps that entire career here. He's just that good as Herbst comes down.
This is going to be it. This could be the winning of the race or losing of the race right here. It's going to be right side tires for the Mark McFarland-led crew. Again, one can of fuel is enough. A little bit of a chassis adjustment. Pretty clean stop.
So now the race. Off pit road. Back on a track. Can he hold his position?
A long pit road there. Ty Majeski said
Just at the starting line now. Coming to turn 1.
I think he's got him.
Majeski with a head of steam. Can Herbst get it up to speed?
He's got to stay below that yellow line.
This one's going to be close. Nope. The 22 steamrolling by. So now the challenge for Herbst. Can he climb back into this race? He has dominated, but with 12 to go, the gap, you see how big it is as Ty Majeski tries to go back-to-back and deny Riley Herbst today in Pocono. Lap number 69 of 80 here in Pocono. That's when the game changed at the General Tire hashtag anywhere is possible 200. Ty Majeski took away the lead from Riley Herbst in the 18. And right now, Phil Parsons, he looks like he's on his way to going back-to-back wins.
Yeah, the last couple laps, Riley Herbst was a little bit quicker. He has 9 laps to go. He was about a quarter of a second faster that last lap. There's enough time for him to catch him.
Let me do some ciphering. Yeah, that's going to make it really close.
Could all depend on how they catch lap cars.
Matt Grafton, the NASCAR Ganders Outdoor Truck Series guy, was supposed to just be with us a little bit, but this has even got you intrigued now.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's very interesting to watch them and just see what you can learn. We got to go back here before too long, so it's definitely a very good race. And to see how each of them got on pit road and got to their pit boxes and how that lead got changed.
It looked like the pit stops were pretty similar, but maybe the advantage right now is maybe how the 22 got to his pit a little bit quicker.
Riley Herbst just chewed up 0.4 of a second. Now it's under a second with 8 laps to go.
Like Matt said, he can smell him now.
Oh yeah, he can smell it now, and you've led so much this race, and you've been so dominant. I mean, he's very angry in his helmet. I guarantee you that right now. So he's the one that checkered flag.
Through the windshield of the ARCA onboard camera, you can see the gap is for sure shrinking. Riley's got Majeski in his sights. I'll say one thing about Ty Majeski. He has looked very smooth, very composed all day long inside of that 22.
Yeah, it was really no match for the 18, the speed of the 18 early on in the race, but they made that pit stop. Chad Ryan, his guys, made enough changes. He was able to stay right with Riley and then take advantage of the gain on this pit stop.
Majeski just slightly quicker. The gap now just more than a second. 7 laps to go.
Majeski's watching lap cars and just begging them to be out of the way and not catch them in the wrong place.
There are 2 right in front of him.
Yeah, that gap he has right now could be eliminated with catching a lap car the wrong way.
In one corner.
In one corner.
It's a 2-car battle as Christian Eckes runs 3rd. Rafael Lessard 4th. Brett Holmes 5th. 5 cars on the lead lap. Michael Self, the point leader, continues to run 9th. He continues to be in the point lead. But it's all about the race win here as the gap looks like it's grown a little bit.
Sure does. We've got a lap. That's Haley Deegan. It looks like possibly right in front of our leader, Ty Majeski. Well, let's see where Ty ends up catching Haley Deegan. If he can catch her, if he can get down underneath her and beat her down to the corner, that's going to help. As Michael Self is in pit road for some more repairs.
Majeski able to get around Deegan there in the corner.
Probably lost minimal amount of time as he was able to drive to the inside of Haley as they got down to turn number 1. Let's see if Riley can get by Haley before they get to the tunnel turn. He is able to get by her as they get to the tunnel turn.
You saw the 25 on pit road. That's Michael Self. He's your point leader. Jamie Howe is more.
And he is still having that sputtering issue. They actually talked about going back to the garage earlier in the race, but decided to fight it out. When you came in this time, it was for the same fuel pressure issue. Had to shut the engine off. So just going around trying to finish this race.
By the start-finish line, Riley Herbst has given up a little bit more ground. Ty Majeski now looks like he has his hands firmly around this race.
Yeah, with 5 laps to go, it's going to take something pretty major for Herbst to be able to close that gap.
Like a lap car.
Like a lap car or 2.
Since that win in 2017 for Riley Herbst, 5 runner-up finishes, 8 podiums. He's staring his 6th runner-up finish and 9th podium in the face. Something that's not sat well with him.
But as Matt said, what's going to be hard to take for Riley is the fact that he dominated this race. He led the first 68 laps of this race. And then we talked about whether this race could be won or lost on pit road, and that's what it looks like happened.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when you lead so much at the beginning part of the race and you sit as a race car driver and you go, how did I give this thing away? What did I do wrong? So there's still 5 laps to go and over 2 miles racetrack.
Again, a couple more tenths given back. Ty Majeski, who started 5th, has led 8 laps. If he could lead 4 more, he'll become the 2nd driver, joining Michael Self to win 2 races in 2019.
I talked to Chad Bryan, the crew chief and the car owner of Ty Majeski's car, and he said, I really think we have the best car. He said, we didn't make a mock run in qualifying. That's why we didn't necessarily get the pole. But he felt like on the long run, we probably had the best car. Had a great test on Wednesday.
4th quick there, yep.
Yeah, very, very confident in this car, and obviously his driver, and he's showing it.
And especially to be able to run Riley down the last run and be all over him for as long as he was, and then Riley's car got better on the longer run, but he showed him a lot of pressure.
It'll be interesting to hear from him post-race. What was the composure like in that car? Did he know what kind of machine he had? Did he think? Did he know he would be able to get past the 18? It's a lead that has grown now from 1.1 second on lap 74. 3 laps later, better in a second and a half.
Yeah, right now he's saying, please, no caution flags. Let us run this thing out here.
And hopefully everybody moves out of the way.
You see Michael Self, a classy move by him to move out of the way with this crippled car.
Let's check in with Jamie.
You mentioned that successful test on Wednesday. One of the decisions that Chad Bryant made when coming to the test was that they were going to run different setups on all of the cars. This is the same car that won at Charlotte, but the only carryover in terms of setup was one spring. Everything else was completely different, and by splitting up their strategy on that 4-hour test, they were able to really learn a lot, put it into the car, and that's the result that we see here today.
Yeah, I actually said that Chad Bryant is a car owner of both the 22 and the 77, but he crew chiefs Joe Graff Jr. That's Paul Andrews, a good buddy of ours, crew chiefing Ty Majeski, trying to go back-to-back here. Sorry about that, Paul. I didn't mean to give credit to Chad as a crew chief.
Took Ty to the winner's circle on the 1.5-mile Charlotte racetrack here just 8 days ago. And now working lap 79. Less than 5 miles to go. A lead that's grown to 2.2 seconds. What's going on inside the helmet of the monster driver, Riley Herbst? And how comfortable is Ty Majeski at this point? I'd say very.
I'd say he's very comfortable, and I think Riley Herbst is probably realizing his fate here, that he's going to probably get another runner-up finish.
Talked about these young kids, that 32 driver making a great super speedway debut, Cole Glasson. Man that shares the same birthday, Rafael Lessard, continues to ride fourth in his Chevrolet. As the white flag is out, final lap. Lap cars, no issue. Majeski on his way.
Well, there was some pretty heavy traffic, but Ty really did a nice job of negotiating. That was our 5th place running. Brett Holmes was one of the cars that he got by. Cole Glasson running 9th as well.
Car he shares with teammate Corey Heim, who plans on making his super speedway debut at this race when we come back on July 26th. But today, Ty Majeski is certainly showing the way.
Crestliner boats came on board the 11th hour for Charlotte. Looks like they may go back-to-back to victory lane.
And what may have taken him 11 races to find victory lane, how about this young hot shoe? The 24-year-old goes back-to-back. Taking the ARCA Menards Series win today at Pocono. For the second time in 8 days, Paul Andrews has made sure there is going to be a big-time hat in Seymour, Wisconsin tonight, Majeski's hometown.
I love that smile on Paul's face.
He is just a nice man, but lethal when it comes to setting these machines up.
He is. Been around a long time. I think Jamie's caught up to him.
Well, as Paul walked down from the pit card, he said, that's good. Then the celebration started. 2 race wins in a row, 2 wins in the last 8 days. What has this team been able to narrow in on with Ty Majeski?
Well, you know, we tested in Charlotte, we tested here, of course, and those tests mean a lot. And just Ty's a hell of a talent. You know, we've always known that. We've known that from 2 years ago, and we got a lot of faith in him, and we believe every word he says, and we adjust the car to what he tells us, and when we go get him. You know, we didn't have the best car to start off with. You know, he had some killer restarts. Holy cow, those were awesome. You know, and then we had a little slow pit stop just because it had a little problem. Man, he went to second in 1 lap. You know, so that means a lot. He drove his heart out. He drove hard, and he's got a lot of talent. We know it, and we're trying to do everything we can to use it.
Congratulations.
Paul Andrews set it up. Ty Majeski will drive it to victory lane. We will hear from him, have your unofficial results, and update all things that just happened today in Pocono. Is Ty getting ready to climb out? Maybe? Yeah, there he is. Back-to-back in victory lane. Much to the delight of the crowd here in Pocono. Victory lane, that is where we will head to when we come back and wrap things up today from the General Tire hashtag Anywhere is Possible 200. That is just as soon as Ty Majeski parks it there for the 2nd consecutive race. What a day we've had. Riley Herbst dominated for 68, but over the final 12, there's only one man heading to victory lane. It has been a very interesting 8 days on the ARCA Menards series from Charlotte to Pocono. 8 days ago, we thought it was going to be a Michael Self show as he started this race from the pole before spinning out.
Yeah, dominated, lost that lead with about 12 laps to go, and Ty Majeski was on it. Great restart here. Passes for the lead. Brett Holmes at 23 with Riley Herbst right there as well.
And then in overtime is able to go the distance to become the 334th winner in ARCA Menards Series history. And now just 8 days later, he has gone back-to-back in victory lane. Jamie Howes there.
They're now going to get Ty Majeski out of the car. Let him celebrate. There he goes. Crew up the top. Dousey him in water. I'm going to take a step back there as he jumps off. Ty, 2 wins in an 8-day period. You said you had to stay relevant. How important is this to you?
Oh, this is a dream come true. You know, like I said last week, from losing my ride last year to Chad Bryan taking a chance on me, and man, this is so special. Coming into the season, my goal is to win 1 race, get 1 pole, but I'll take wins any day over poles, so this is really cool. Huge thank you to Crestliner Boats for coming on board. Oh, this is so special. Paul Andrews made good calls all day long. Man, this Chad Bryan team works so hard, day in and day out. Man, the Crestliner Ford was fast all day. It was just a matter of being the 18 off of pit road and those green flag stops. I feel like, you know, whoever came out in front and had track position was going to win the race.
You sat behind Riley in that 18, Riley Herbst, for a long time. What did you learn when you were behind him that you used to pass him?
That dirty air is just real tough. When I could get, you know, within a couple car lengths of him and I would just die. You know, the inside is so preferred here, and it's tough to get clean air on the nose and get the front end to turn. I was doing all I could there, but fortunately, like I said, I made that pass on pit road. I didn't make it on the racetrack, so I knew that was important. I was thinking about my green flag pit stop and my marks coming up to that time, and it paid off.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man scheduled is to make 6 races with that Chad Bryan Racing team. This one is his 3rd. He becomes the 2nd 2-time winners. We take a look at all of our ARCA Menards Series winners this season.
Yeah, he joins Michael Self as a 2-time winner here. You see Harrison Burton wins at Daytona, Todd Gilliland at Talladega, and then Christian Eckes and Chandler Smith win a couple short tracks.
Matt Crafton's been with us all day. How entertaining. What did you learn out of what you saw today?
I mean, track position's key. I mean, we know it everywhere. I mean, Ty did a very, very good job getting on pit road. And like he said, he won it on pit road, and the pit crew did their job and had a great car.
Just tell your crew chief junior that you just need to be the first truck off of pit road on the last pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just that easy.
Matt, thank you for joining us today as we check back in down on pit road with Jamie.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you can see the disappointment on Riley Herbst's face. You led most of that race today. What was the biggest difference for you?
I don't know, man. I think right there at the end when we took 2 tires, just really tightened us up too much. I couldn't get back to the 22. Just sucks, man, when you have a dominating car in a race like that and you come home 2nd. And I drove as hard as I could there, and I couldn't really do anything about it.
Thank you.
Barely able to muster a smile, but a little proper perspective. Not doing the kind of celebrating this man is. Ty Majeski wins today in Pocono as we've got more action from the General Tire. Hashtag anywhere is possible 200 when we return.
3, 2, 1, here we go.
Welcome to our NASCAR Race Hub.
From the green flag at Daytona to the checkers at Homestead.
In the car,
That close might get you on race up.
under the hood, and hanging with the drivers.
A little love fest here. Gordon, Harvick, Canal, and of course the champ.
We've got the drama,
Get the heck out of the way.
the science.
New levels of analysis and storytelling for the sport.
NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
There have now been 27 consecutive ARCA Menards Series races dating back to 2006 without a repeat winner. That is because that man, Ty Majeski, has just won the General Tire hashtag anywhere is possible 200. With the 3rd place runner now, though, is Jamie.
Well, we saw Christian Eckes in that number 15 machine to slide into his pit stall, overshoot it a little bit. Now, no, the reason is because you had no brakes. You lost him, you said, about 25 laps to go. What impact did that have on the last stage of the race?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just as soon as we got there, about 25 to go, it's just like a flip of a switch, they went. So I'm not really sure what happened, but you know, I honestly, we had a great JBL Camry today, but you know, it's unfortunate we didn't get to race these General Tires. I mean, we came in there and took 2 there, and I felt like we had a pretty good shot to win the race. And you know, it handled great, but you know, it's just so hard to lift so early and not make up any ground. So you know, I can't thank all my guys enough. They really worked hard this week and brought me a great JBL Camry, and ready to go to Michigan.
You told me earlier today that it's a little bit excessive, in your opinion, how much you focus on racing all the time at the shop, all the time at home, looking at data. What was the biggest lesson you learned today?
You know, it's just really all around. Like, you know, I worked a lot with lines and stuff like that. You know, we were fighting different really variations of our car throughout the day, and you know, entering lower, entering higher, and stuff like that really helped. And you know, there's a bunch of stuff to take from the weekend, but overall, I'm just ready to go to Michigan.
Bigger picture, though, for Christian Eckes. What was once a point leader has fallen more than 200 behind. And take a look with his finish today. He's now 80 points behind Michael Self, who struggled. So this points race, in terms of championship, is getting that much more interesting.
Yeah, without a doubt, looks like at least a 4-man race right there. And Joe Graf Jr. certainly has an opportunity maybe to fight back in this battle.
Brett Holmes still has something to say about that. Wouldn't it be a hoot to see him win his first race while also becoming the point leader? And speaking of the point leader, let's go back downstairs, Virginia.
And that's Michael Self, who is still a bit puzzled by the race that unfolded today. You were down on power, you were sputtering. What was the biggest factor in the result?
Just junk. I mean, just stuff just keeps breaking. I mean, I love the guys of Venturi Motorsports. They put an awesome car together. We had speed there at one point, but it's like 3 weeks in a row we've had something break. We had a fan break at Toledo. We had the oil fixture break at Charlotte. We had an axle and an alternator break here today. It's just like, if we can just go a race, we'll be fine. We'll probably go win. I'm just kind of tired of stuff breaking, but we have fast cars. We just got to work some of the bugs out of it. So thanks to these guys. I mean, thanks to Sinclair Oil for being on here. Glad we still have the points lead. Just bummed out these finishes. Thanks General Tire for putting this race on. Everything you guys do for the Menards series here. I just need some luck or something. I don't know.
You talked a little bit earlier today about the experience that you have and the way you like to help some of the younger drivers using that experience, looking ahead to the rest of the season and the next race. Where do you think you guys need to focus?
I mean, these are the tracks I'd like to capitalize at. These are the places that I like to come to. Here, Michigan, Gateway, coming back here, Iowa. I mean, that's the hard thing about this is we're going to these tracks like Charlotte and here, and we've had 2 huge mistakes that have, you know, I made a mistake last week, and that cost us a win there. And then today, you know, we had a top 3 car for sure, and stuff breaks. And that's really hard to come to the tracks where I feel like I'm the best and where I can capitalize and not be having good runs. I mean, that's pretty degrading. So just got to go capitalize everywhere. I don't think we'd be good on the short tracks this year. We've won 2 of them. So I don't know, maybe we just go make it up there and maybe our stuff won't break at those places.
Retains the point lead, so still some positive to go forward.
Definitely a little perspective will come his way as the hours wind away from this evening. Next up for the ARCA Menards series, we're heading to Michigan International Speedway. That's a race you can catch right here on FS1. Here's the rest of the calendar. All of those highlighted in yellow will be on the Fox networks.
Yeah, what a great run of races. 7 in a row. We talked about that a lot. Another one yet next week at Michigan, then on to Madison, Gateway, and Chicago will round out that 7-race swing.
MAV TV will have our complimentary coverage. Be sure to check out local listings for the time in your area. But boy, it's looking to be a very interesting season. That Michigan International Speedway race we know will come at 6 p.m. Eastern in 1 week's time. A chance to see if Michael Self can get back on the horse, and better yet to see if this man, Ty Majeski, who has now gone back-to-back, can win 3 races in a row. To the victor go the spoils. How about that trophy he earned today in Pocono? 80 laps of racing are in the books here at Pocono Raceways. The General Tire hashtag Anywhere is Possible 200 has just come to a close, and we were wondering as we take you on a race recap, was it possible to beat Riley Herbst, a car that looked so dominant for so long? We begin, though, at the start of the race as Herbst ran alongside of Harrison Burton, who looked like that 20 car was going to the front. Herbst had something to say about that.
Yeah, this is the exit of turn number 1. Riley Herbst will fight back from the outside and grab that lead. A little bit farther back, Michael Self has the start of his issues. Really loose, loses all the way back to the 10th position after starting up in the top 4.
Haley Deegan's in the car 55. It's her super speedway debut. IK9 ultimately gets held up there, comes home, finishing in the 7th spot there.
Going to lose a couple of spots here. She has a little trouble around the lap car. Brett Holmes and Cole Glasson are able to drive by. Here's a good battle as Michael Self tries to fight his way back towards the front as he makes the pass on his teammate Haley Deegan.
Harrison Burton seemed like he was going to be a factor all day long, but a flat tire here forced the Morton car into the pits early. That tire steaming hot.
Yeah, that's one of 2 flat tires for Harrison Burton. 1 lap later, Cole Glasson, same situation, but a left front tire as he avoids the coasting Bobby Gerhart as he makes his way to pit road.
Gerhart, though, would ultimately bring out a caution, and that began to change things a little bit. Riley Herbst, though, continued to lead until he came on pit road on lap 68. The question would be, could he race Ty Majeski back off of the starting line, and would he be able to hold on to that lead?
He does hold on to that lead, but Ty Majeski does some aggressive moves there on this restart. That's him in the black, number 22, and he's going to end up chasing the 18 of Riley Herbst until they make their green flag pit stops. There he gets by the 28 of Rafael Lassard, and there's the 15 also of Christian Eckes.
More problems, though, later for Michael Self. The bad luck continues, but not so bad that he doesn't have a solid finish, though.
There's that second right front tire.
Right front, you bet, for Harrison Burton.
For Harrison Burton, he is able to overcome this and end up with a 6th place finish, being shown 2 laps down. Looks a lot like the first right front tire that went flat.
And there's Majeski battling with Riley Herbst. It looked like this was going to be the moment, but Riley said, you know what, not so fast. I'm going to come back on the inside, retake that lead, reassert myself in first place.
And it all came down to the pit stops. This is the Paul Andrews-led crew right here. Good job by Ty Majeski getting 2 and out of the pits. Here's Riley Herbst. A good, solid pit stop here 1 lap later.
And this is my jump the shark moment. Riley Herbst, could he hold off? Could he win the race off pit road? The answer, very solidly, very emphatically, no.
He stayed very, very close for a few laps there, but at the end, it was Ty Majeski that pulls away to about a 2.5 win.
24 years old, out of Seymour, Wisconsin, Paul Andrews and that entire team for Chad Bryant Racing. Taking the 24-year-old to back-to-back wins. Is Riley able to hold on to a 6th runner-up finish since winning here in 2017? Eckes salvages some points. There's Rafael Lassard. How about 5th on down? A lap or more off the pace.
Yeah, still a solid run, though, for the 23 of Brett Holmes.
Well, speaking of Brett Holmes, he maintains himself a pretty solid position in the points. 2nd, he's standing by with Jamie.
Considering that he started the race 10th, bringing home a top 5 finish, not a bad day at the office for you. Now, you had 2017 ARCA champion Austin Terrio here to help you. What advice was he able to give you over the course of the weekend?
Yeah, it's definitely not hard to smile about today's finish. This is a win for us. This is one of the tracks I struggle most with, and Austin, we studied so much the past couple days. It really helped out a lot. We picked up a lot from practice to race, and there's definitely a reason he's a champion in the series.
After Wednesday, your crew chief, Shane Huffman, he told me that one of the biggest issues you had was balance and then finding the speed once that balance was right. What kind of race car did you bring home today?
We had a solid car. I think this is, Shane's brought me a solid car every race, and we've had a solid crew, and we've gone through growing pains the past 2 years in our new team. It's hard competing against these guys that have been in the sport, this series for a long time. So we're in the competition for the championship right now. We moved up 2nd in points, made up a lot of points today. So we're in the running for it, and we're here to win the championship.
Yeah, you went from a 55-point deficit to just a 30. Nice job.
Best finish ever at Pocono for a man. Nice little subplot. Veterans Coffee Company on the car of Brett Holmes. The coffee company owned entirely by combat veterans. Want to learn more about that? Check out Brett Holmes. 80 laps are in the books. Ty Majeski wins, but we're not done yet in Pocono. Don't go. Xfinity Series tackles the Triangle on Saturday. Then on Sunday, it's a battle of the NASCAR stars. It all starts with the pre-race coverage at 12:30 Eastern, followed by the Monster Energy Cup Series race at 2. Catch it all on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. All kinds of action going on today. The celebration, though, continuing for Ty Majeski. We had a couple of solid debuts today. One of those, the hot shoe Canadian, Rafael Lassard, who's standing by with Jamie.
Well, it was his 2nd race of the season, Dave, but it was his first green flag pit stop after a tire issue. You said that was pretty cool. What was your biggest takeaway?
I mean, it was a nice experience. First time doing a green flag pit stop, and I think we did a good job. I think I got in pit roll okay, and it went pretty quick. So when we got back out there, I feel like we were one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, and our car was really good when we put those last 4 tires on. And man, it's frustrating, but the car's in one piece again, so I can thanks for everyone enough and KBR for this opportunity.
It was a solid top 5 finish in 4th, but you didn't even know a week and a half ago that you were going to be doing this race. How do you prep for such a daunting racetrack when you don't know that you're coming?
Oh yeah, it was my first time here, first time on a super speedway, and it was pretty fun. I like it. It's fast, and you can just get everything out of it. And at the end, that's what I did, and just came up short. I think if it wasn't for that that tire that was falling apart on us, I think we could have compete with Ty Majeski, and congrats to him, and Riley Herbst. They were both really fast, but I think we had a shot at competing for the win with them.
You're disappointed, but you have a lot to be proud of. Nice job.
Thank you.
I think iRacing somewhere figures into that, all these kids with their eye-hand coordination. But I don't know what's harder, Phil. Us getting older, seeing these kids seemingly get younger on these series.
They certainly do. He's run a couple truck races this year for KBM, Kyle Busch Motorsports. A couple top 15 finishes. A very, very bright future for Lessard. And certainly that guy right there, Tom Majeski, also.
Can't feel bad when you got to go home and do laundry for sticky clothes because it's victory lane celebrating that's going on. The standings after Pocono and round 4 of the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge. Billy Venturini continues to lead.
Yeah, Chad Bryant closes in a little bit there with that second win in a row. You see him 135 points back.
So from now, the series will take a very short break before we prepare to go to Michigan International Speedway next week. All the action coming your way, 6 p.m. Eastern on FS1. A lot of questions we'll have answers for. What's the biggest one you got as we get ready to go to Michigan?
I tell you, can Ty Majeski keep it going? Can he make it 3 in a row? I certainly wouldn't bet against him. He's awfully good. Right now, that Paul Andrews-led team is really doing a nice job. Riley Herbst also doing a super job in that 18 car. He's been fast both these past 2 weeks. And can Michael Self, can they rebound and get rid of some of the issues that they've had and have a clean race and have a competitive race next week?
We talked about the challenges. The ARCA Menards series racing 7 times over 39 days. It's a daunting task unless you can get on a roll, and that's exactly what Chad Bryant and that racing team, Ty Majeski, are doing. So we'll see if they can keep it up when we get to Michigan next week. 6 p.m. Eastern. Coming up next, we've got the FIFA Under-20 World Cup match between South Africa and Portugal. For our entire Fox Sports crew, I'm Dave Reef. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did watching Ty Majeski win 2 in a row.